Hello, dear friends. With us is the Kabbalist, Dr. Michael Laitman. Yes, it is I. Hello. The holiday of Pentecost, Shavuot. Mount Sinai, the Jewish people have received the Torah and the Ten Commandments. The holiday is celebrated especially by Jews, but really, it is a worldwide holiday. True, it is the beginning of the ethical development of humanity. So why doesn't the world celebrate it? Because the world doesn't care about ethics, about their morals. I'm telling you seriously. They don't understand where they're growing from. They don't want to acknowledge this. Okay, so where are they growing from? A bit about this holiday for the world. We can say the following, that humanity's been developing for the past tens of thousands of years. But really, their development began from Adam Arishon, literally meaning the first man. 5,780 years ago, there was such a person called Adam. And he attained the meaning, the purpose of creation, the Creator. He told about this to his students, he wrote about this. And since then, the wisdom about how to reveal the Creator exists in our world. It went from Adam to all of his children up until Noah. Well, it's not really children, it's his students. And from Noah to Abraham, 20 generations went by until it was revealed to Abraham in ancient Babylon, which was around 3,800 years ago. Afterwards, this group of people that was established, gathered by Abraham under the slogan of love another as yourself, which is the main law in the Torah that includes and encompasses all of its aspirations. This group left Babylon, and after hundreds of years, it gathered as if at Mount Sinai. This was 1,940 years after Adam, or you could say that it was 1,312, if I'm not wrong, BC. 1,312 BC. And since then, we have the Torah. So this is where we got the Torah. Yes, it is a statute that if we realize it in ourselves, then we will be like the Creator. That's it. But why should we be like the Creator? What does it mean inside ourselves? What does it mean to receive the Torah? Who are we? The thing is that the way in which we see and depict ourselves, we're not human beings. We are a part of the animal kingdom. The only difference between us is that we're worse due to our growing ego. Excessive ego. Now, actually, our mission is to rise above our animate, egoistic level to the degree of love and bestowal toward each other, toward nature, toward everything, to come out of our ego, to rise above it. This is why it was given to us in order for us to rise above it into what we call faith above reason. And this way we will become like the Creator. Because the Creator exists only in the power of bestowal and giving and love. So, in order to become like the Creator, and this is why we're called Adam, in Hebrew coming from the word domeh, to be similar to, if we will act the way it says in the Torah, meaning to correct ourselves to be similar to the Creator according to love another as yourself, then we will rise to the next level of the perception of the world, of ourselves, of reality. We will become unique, created beings. This is what the Torah talks about. And this is what it was given for. But still, it was given to the Jewish people, not to the world. It was given to that group that, together with Abraham, disconnected from the inhabitants of ancient Babylon because they didn't want to stay with them, and they didn't want to follow Abraham's method. Meaning, it's not a nation, actually, but those that came together from all of the inhabitants of ancient Babylon that followed Abraham. So it's written. So who was the Torah given to? The Torah was given to those who left Babylon, meaning to a gathering of people that came from different small groups, nations, extended families, that followed Abraham out of Babylon. First they came to the land of Israel, then from the land of Israel to Egypt. They were in Egypt for a few centuries, and then they came out of Egypt. We can even say they escaped from Egypt. And so it says in the Passover Agadah. And afterwards, they came to Mount Sinai. And at the foot of Mount Sinai, they have received the 10 Commandments, meaning the instruction to life. Yeah, meaning how to rise to the Creator. This is what this instruction is about. How to rise to that quality of love and bestowal. Yes. In the book of Zohar, these 10 commandments are being explained, and it's shown how, by keeping them, a person really attains an ascent from his current animate state, in which he loves only himself, naturally, to the state where he starts loving everyone else as he loves himself. Can you now kind of communicate? I have to find the right word. Can you apply this holiday to the coronavirus era, to today's humanity? Why is this holiday current? This holiday has been current throughout the thousands of years of its existence. Today it's especially current because today we are in a state where we are as if standing at the footstep, before Mount Sinai. Mount Sinai, Har Sinai in Hebrew, coming from the word Sinaa, hate. When we start understanding that our ego actually hates others, it will simply not allow us to exist. Then, what we have to do is to simply stop using it, to invert it into good. And this is what the Torah was given for. The Torah is not a book. This is important. Everyone sees the Torah. When you say the word Torah, they see it as some kind of book. So, it's not about that. The Torah is light. As it says, I have created the evil inclination, the Torah, meaning the ego, and the Torah in order to correct it, because the light that exists in the Torah corrects the ego, making man better. So this is what the Torah is about. It's not a printed or any other kind of book, but it is a system of how to draw the upper light, an upper energy that corrects a person from the egoistic level to the level of altruism and love to all. So, if a person in the world simply wants to come closer to this quality of love, to come out of the ego, it means that he is gradually starting to reveal the Torah, the book. Yeah. Any person doesn't have to be a Jew, regardless. And altogether, there is no such concept as Jews. It's an ideology, it's not a nationality. So a person becomes then a Jew. Yes, any person from the nations of the world becomes a Jew if he wants to draw closer the quality of bestowal and love. Yes, there are the 70 nations of the world, and there is another group called Jews, Israel, and so on. It has several names. Hebrews. But it is not a national, any kind of national sign. It is about what do you aspire for. If you're yearning for the revelation of the upper force to become like it, in terms of the ability to love, to connect, to unite, then you're called a Yehudi, a Jew, from the word Yichud, connection. Okay, so yes, Yehuda, Judea, comes from the word Yehudi, Yichud, connection, and also Ivri, Hebrews, from the word La'avor, me'ever, to cross over, namely to cross over to the other side. So Abraham the Hebrew, meaning he who crossed from his egoistic to his altruistic state. Okay, now, there are an enormous amount of people watching us from different nationalities, and you're telling them, once you start moving toward connection and love, you become Jews. Well, I'm not telling this to them, actually, because this frightens people nowadays. That's what I'm asking about. But you said that a person automatically comes closer to becoming a Jew from the word connection, and any person, regardless of his nationality, if he crosses from egoism to altruism, he's called a Jew, and therefore all of humanity hates him because everyone else is in their egoistic desire. And Israel, meaning to be aimed straight at the Creator, literally Israel, according to a person's direction of being aimed toward the Creator, therefore he is called Israel. So eventually the entire world has to become Israel? Yes, but you have to get used to these names, these concepts, and to understand their true meaning. And of course, not to look at those people that nowadays are called Jews or Hebrews or Israel, because they're very far from the true attributes, qualities that Jews or Israel have to have. So you're talking only in spiritual terms and not what it says in a person's ID, on a person's ID card or whatever. Absolutely. Okay. To summarize, the holiday of Pentecost for the world. A few words about that. The holiday of Pentecost, Shavuot, it's because they're 7 weeks after coming out of Egypt. And this holiday is actually called the holiday of the giving of Torah, Matan Torah in Hebrew. It's customary to wear white because it's like festive clothing. It's the holiday of giving, the light of giving, of love. It is common to eat dairy products because it as if underlines the radiance of the Creator's the light that the Creator sheds upon the world. It's a very good, kind holiday. But actually, it doesn't matter this specific date, because whenever a person would like to reveal the Creator, he could do it at any time. Thank you. Thank you. Good. Now, the news. The theory that scientists work on that has to do with the cosmic program, they say that it is necessary to take all the industry from Earth and send it out to space. We have to make our planet an ecological heaven. People sooner or later will work in outer space, and Earth will become a resting resort. We mustn't destroy it. What do you think about this theory? These are all theories. Therefore, I don't really relate to all of these things. Didn't even know about this, about what you were just talking. Well, is it logical? Everything's polluted, there's a virus, it'll all disappear from here, and that's that. Gradually to move all the industry into outer space, or to the contrary, for us to fly away. We'll leave the industry here and we'll fly away. Sorry. To take all the industry into outer space and to make this place an eco-heaven. Well, that's not bad, actually. But the thing is that I think that were we to correctly relate to our planet and to the environment, to others with kindness and love as demanded of us, actually, to the still, vegetative, animate, and to other people, then we wouldn't have to fly anywhere. So it's hard to relate this way to each other, and therefore come up all of these theories. Yeah, we want to run away. We want to run away in order not to solve anything, actually. The biggest problem are people. When we will stay here and we will move everything else into outer space, then here it will be hell, not heaven. I don't believe in man's good inclination, never did. Especially after I started studying the wisdom of Kabbalah many years ago. So unless we correct man, nothing's going to help us to move anything anywhere. And if we correct man, then we don't have to move anything anywhere. We'll be able to do what we have to do here. Industry, education, upbringing, to make it good for everyone. The main thing is not to jump to any place. Meaning, the solution for any problem has to be that everyone will be well off, not someone here or there. And until we reach that, there's no point in going to any other place. This is what we have to work on. Yeah, but this science fiction. Okay, so let's shut everything down, and that's that. Do you believe that a person can at least believe in such a reality, that the last person will be well off on this planet, that this is how humanity will live? Looking at humanity now, but this isn't humanity, what you see. It's just Sodom and Gomorrah. All the more, how can people come to this? Through the recognition of evil. When I look at all the evil that's accumulated and that the planet can no longer stand it, I feel happy about it. Happy? I thought you're going to say I feel bad. No, not bad. Because through the recognition of evil, we will come to the need to correct the world, correct ourselves. Therefore, the more the evil is revealed, but along with it, you have to show that it is evil. And how can we get rid of it? What is the good, actually? I think that we're coming to that. I'm optimistic. So the evil is that I don't want to help the other, that I don't like another, that I'm engaged only in my own business and concerns. Our personal ego. And this is what I want to get rid of. No, it's not just to get rid of it. I have to see that it's to my detriment, otherwise how will I get rid of it? So I remain an egoist. I see that it's to my detriment. No. I see that it's to my detriment, and only then I decide that I have no other choice, but I have to get rid of the ego. Okay, so this is what we have to do here on Earth. We won't fly anywhere. We won't redirect our industry. No. It's impossible. It is impossible. Everyone thinks that what you're saying is impossible, that the last person on Earth will be well off. You're saying that technologically it's. To move industry where? Have you any idea how much it costs to move 1 kilogram of something from this planet? And in outer space, there's nothing. You have to take it all from here. It's okay, so how will a person come to the recognition of evil? You're saying through suffering. On the one hand, suffering, because without that, nothing will happen. There has to be the recognition of evil. Afterwards, there has to also be the recognition of good, meaning that a person will see that in nature there is a positive force, and when I'll feel really bad, I'll start seeing it because I'll start asking, okay, what should I do? Another virus, another coronavirus, another something, and gradually we'll start opening up to it. They'll systematically give us blows, and we'll start developing, evolving. Eventually, there will also be, you'll also have a listening ear. People will be willing to hear how to get rid of these blows. So a person who gets a blow starts listening, he starts hearing. Of course he does. It's well known. Punishment. Even though that it's not punishment, but education. So in order for there to be heaven on earth, and this is possible, you said that right now what we have here is hell, actually. We're living according to the laws of hell here. And in order for us to, this is my question, is it possible to have heaven on earth? In order to build a heaven on earth, you have to build man, not in outer space, but here on earth. To really build a human being, you have to give people a clear understanding of what does it mean to be a human being, that we have no other way out. We have to reach a good and correct relationship with one another. And the only thing that can help us in this is our ego. I'm underlining this. It is showing us where do we have to correct it, not to destroy it, but above it, to build good relations. And here, this is something that we have to work on between ourselves and create a system of correct education. Without that, nothing will help. How to educate, make, create, build a human being. And whether we like it or not, it's not up to us, but it's up to the measure of suffering that we will experience. We're going into such sufferings now that will force us to correct ourselves, to want to be corrected. And the wisdom of Kabbalah gives instructions of how to do it. So I hope that we are present at the birth of a new mankind, and we will see it in our lifetime. So we won't leave the planet or anything. Nah, that's science fiction. That who knows who invented it and what for. It's not for our technology, or does it meet our inner parameters? Meaning we're connected to this planet? Of course. A person without solving the question about who is he supposed to be, he won't be able to go anywhere. The entire cosmos is given to us in order for us to understand that here we have to make all of our corrections here on Earth. Okay.
Был карантин, и остается во многих странах.
Well, there was a quarantine, still is. Billions of people were quarantined to their homes. And it affects a person's psychology. Where will he work? What will he do? Psychologists say that the main problem will be that the slowing down of the pace of life will force us to think, what is the meaning of life? What is the purpose of everything? And psychologists say that this could lead to depression and even suicide. No, so what? They're saying that this is the main problem when a person starts thinking about the meaning of life. He finds no solution and he gets depressed. Okay, so he'll be depressed and he'll start thinking about why, what for. People will become more attentive to hearing about how to get rid of depression. Depression is actually the worst problem. You know how people get rid of depression, different antidepressants, but they won't help either. A person will want to hear about how to get rid of his depression, and we'll tell them how to. So that a person will feel bad because the question about the meaning of life will surface in him, that's good. It's not good or bad. It's natural. It's natural. When he sees his life in quarantine, without quarantine, before the virus, after the virus, with new viruses, one way or another, he'll start feeling, what's going on with me? What is nature toying with me for? Yeah, I put into my life, into my business, into this, into that, and now I start asking why, what for, what did I do it all for? I'm thinking what an ordinary person thinks. He's at a dead end, having no idea what to do. Well, they'll try to go back to how things were, but they won't be able to. This is already clear. An enormous amount of professions and businesses will simply disappear because they are redundant. No one will use them. And they'll be left with a question of what should I do and what am I living for? Yeah. And here you have to start organizing people. But what can you say in order for a person to start listening, that he'll feel that there is a light at the end of the tunnel? Nature is offering us an ultimative solution, the ultimate solution. Either you correct yourself and become like nature, meaning that you will be engaged in building a good, nice, friendly, kind interconnection between people, relationships between people, and if you need to, and whoever needs to, will work a few hours a week just in order to meet their basic needs. All the rest of the time will be dedicated to education and self-education, educating myself and others, suppose my children, and so on. And this is what you have to be engaged in, and that's it. Through the correction of relations between people, you will start feeling our world as an infinite, endless, whole and perfect existence. And this is what education should be directed at. Yes, educating, teaching people how to connect with one another in order to create a harmonious mankind. So I was running around looking for work, career, this, that, and now you're telling me you stop. All of this will be gone, and you should think about how to build good relationships between people. And that is work. This is actually the work of man, of a human being. I have to understand that this is work. For me, this was never work. Well, it only seems so. Here you're talking about every person, everybody, including everybody. Meaning not leaders or these or those. No. All people. Because there is no leadership here. Here, there is more mutual help and support than leadership. So the simplest person will think about how to build good relationships with others. Closer circles, more outer circles, yes. And this is what you call work, yes. And for this, he has to get some kind of reward. He will, of course. Human society will be built in such a way that people will be paid for this. Everyone will get some kind of scholarship. This is what people will work on, building good relations with others. It's a real twist. It's work. It's work. Maybe you'll be able to measure it in kilojoules, or you can measure it. Will humanity go for it? We'll have to. We'll have to. Where will the money come from? First of all, yes, in order to pay people for this kind of work that actually previously was not considered work. Wait a second. Money's printed, right? No problems here. You can print papers or jetons. No problem. People will work in different places that are necessary for humanity and will all the time keep them more and more ecologically sane. Meaning about 20% of the people, switching all the time, will have to work in these plants, factories, and they have to make only what's necessary for people to meet their basic needs. Meaning not to put something in my pocket, but only for the sake of others. Yes, and only what people really need. Everything else, all the rest of your time and efforts will be put into creating a correct connection between us and people and so on. And this is what people will learn how to do. Yes. And this will be the work that people will do together between them, get organized around. So like you said, that suppose 20% of the people will work and they'll change all the time. And 80% will be studying. From children to elders, yes, and they will be paid for sitting and studying about how to build good relations with one another. Yes, necessarily. And everything is going to be really, the atmosphere itself will be very good, nice, pleasant, kind, that will fulfill everyone with joy, happiness, and there will be no depression whatsoever. First of all, envy disappears. Envy will only remain in the form of, can I do to the benefit of society as much as others do, or less, meaning in a positive way? And then, what will be a person's meaning in life? In the correct relations between him and others, he will reveal the Creator. So there is no greater reward. That's the greatest reward. A person will feel his life as whole, complete, eternal. Why will the Creator be revealed to a person once he builds good relations with others? According to the law of equivalence of form between the Creator And man, who's building himself, who's building good relations with others. I'm a simple person. The Creator's revealed to me. What does that mean for me? The feeling that you exist in a perfect and eternal realm, the entire cosmos, everything around you is felt as your home, as your eternal state. You perceive it not through your animate body, through your animate state, but through something different, higher, what we call soul. And this is accessible to everyone. Then a person won't ask questions, he'll immediately understand what's the meaning of life. Yeah. I'm sure that in the upcoming years, it will become a true demand. And antidepressants won't help. No, to the contrary. Nothing. But let people try. The more people try and are disappointed, despaired, the quicker we arrive at our goal. Okay, good.
Нет, я пока не убираю. Посмотрим, как там. Нет. Вроде завершили, я просто думаю.
Okay, so we kind of summarized this. I'm just thinking, is there anything left? So, okay. Next.
У меня немного времени осталось. Давайте сделаем вот что, так просто проэкспериментируем. Вот мы с вами делали комментарии на великих мудрецов.
We talked about the great Kabbalists like King Solomon, the great sages. And suppose you meet a simple person on the street, you talk to him, he doesn't know the names of these sages, maybe not even King Solomon, but suppose Steve Jobs. He knows this name. It's the person who practically inverted our world, a person who really brought a lot into our world. And he has several quotes that I'd like for you to explain from the point of view of a Kabbalist. How does it sound to a Kabbalist? I believe that the quality of a person is defined by his environment and not by heritage. True? Absolutely true. So this is how it is according to the wisdom of Kabbalah too. Yes, but my heritage means something. It's the beginning point, but actually everything's defined by the environment. So the environment can actually also change my heritage. I don't see the heritage as, I don't see anything negative in it. Even if there is a bad heritage, the environment forms a person. So a few words about how does it change me, the environment? The environment, it takes a person like into a clamp and works on him, starts working on him, hammering, bending, building, and you get something completely new. So I can't do it myself. By no means, you're not free. There are initial qualities, but the environment knows how to work with that and make out of man what's necessary. Do I look for the environment or does it find me? Well, it's actually not you or the environment. It's something that comes from above, like this predetermined fate. But you agree with this quote. Okay, good. The path itself is the reward. The path that you made. Actually, yes, because it defines my future steps. And therefore, if you went through it correctly, then for me it's a real reward because I am correctly directed in the right direction, acquiring the correct habits. But if I don't want to go, you go all the time. But do I get a reward? Precisely by going through what I go through. And if I went through it correctly, then for me it's a reward. And I continue advancing, developing every time in the correct direction. And if I make some mistakes, I regret it, where's the reward here then? It's the same. Well, it's not really clear, but maybe not clear, but you have to understand that in general, there is no reward or punishment. There is education. Nature is educating us, teaching us, and therefore, one way or another, the path that you've undergone, the main thing is for a person to perceive this correctly, that he'll look into what's happening, going on with him. Not to allow mistakes, meaning it means to live an incomplete life. Well, actually, our entire life consists only of mistakes. Really? Of course. And when we acknowledge these mistakes on every step of our way, then this way we advance correctly. So we're all the time making this fine-tuning with every step. Yes, and still we err. Of course, all the time. But we discover our evil inclination with each and every step, and on each and every step we try to correct it. So precisely because our nature is ego, every step of ours is a mistake. Every step of ours is a mistake to begin with, but it depends upon us. How can we make a positive mistake out of it, meaning to learn from it? This really turns the way that you think that for a person to think that he is erring with every step. Isn't it how we lived our entire life? That our entire life was only mistakes? This is what a person at the end of his life thinks. No, at the end of his life, he justifies himself because he doesn't want to see the truth. But it doesn't mean that he didn't err, or that he doesn't have a bad outcome from his life, but it only says that he doesn't want to see the truth. For sure. But it's very harsh. Bitter why? It's bitter for a person to die with the feeling that his entire life was a mistake. It's bitter. Then I don't know how to talk to people then. That's why I'm not saying anything. Your time is limited. Don't waste it on living someone else's life. That's true. Find yours, your line, yourself, and to go only in that, and to never ever be influenced by other ideas, philosophies, and so on. It's very important for a person. But I think that it's only for unique individuals. Not to accept the ideas of others and to follow them. For this, you have to experience truly a lot. What do you mean by experiencing? To experience, to analyze, to solve this inside yourself, to be afraid, to get up, to fall, and again. Meaning it has to be a person that is all the time demanding of a life an inner meaning. That's for sure. Meaning, it doesn't exist in everyone. Of course not. Therefore, there are leaders, sages that... And one last thing. That I control everything. You will never find what you were looking for until you find it. I didn't understand the word. Job says that you will never find out what were you looking for until you find it. That's true, right? And only after you find it, you'll actually understand what were you looking for. So I'm searching for happiness, suppose. Turns out that I wasn't looking for this at all. I found something else. Why? Were we to know in advance what to look for, then we wouldn't have had to look for it. We wouldn't have to look for it. For me, it would have been clear. A Kabbalist, is he looking as he's searching? A Kabbalist searches for one thing only: how to leap to the Creator. And what happens on the way is not important. The main thing is to come closer. And this is his only task. And when it happens, turns out that he understood everything in a completely different... Of course, he doesn't even ask these questions. He doesn't order the future, that this I want to be and feel this or that way. No, just to come closer to the Creator. Thank you very much. You're welcome.